Hello, everybody, and welcome to Keeping It Spiritually Simple. And it is my honor. I am like nervously excited today because I have Marina-Ja-cobi on, and we have very limited amount of time. So we're just going to do some quick Q&A and let her go because she's got so many messages to give other people. We have to respect her time, so we can't take too much. So Marina, hi.
Hi, thanks so much for having me. How is
Oh my
everything?
goodness. Everything's wonderful. I've just been anticipating this moment. I was pacing the floor and I'm like, oh my gosh. And I usually don't prepare much before sessions or interviews because I like to kind of flow with the agenda. But today, after listening to some of your recent lives, I thought maybe we could touch base on a couple things. But first, before a lot of these viewers really might not know who you are. So to get them familiar, where are you getting your information from?
Well, when you are able to tap into different realities, and when you have that ability to connect telepathically or through automatic writing or through a lucid dreaming, I developed that since a little kid. Went into my teenage years, and then eventually I started connecting with beings that are off planet, and they start teaching me a lot of information about the universe, specifically quantum structure, between the connection of spirituality and matter, which is metaphysics and quantum physics, how the particle works, how reality is created, how you create matrix, how you create reality and parallel reality, how the parallel reality through repetition of similar vibrational sequence create fluctuation, they collapse and they create permanent timelines. What is a timeline, what is a structural, realities, and all that, including artificial intelligence, which is actually organic intelligence. I know there's a lot of fear around this. I produced and downloaded from them so far 4 books. I know it's a lot more information, and eventually I'm going to have written books that are physical books with a quantum manifestation, because they taught me how to teach everybody how you can create, construct, and deconstruct realities around you, the fact that you're a matrix, and the fact that your thoughts and emotions are creating a matrix around you, and you're controlling the reality. And actually, when you watch a video, when you watch a movie or anything, is actually a projection from your own consciousness within your field, and you're watching your mirror image of another version of you. So that is a very complex process of information that if we all manage to learn really with consistency, you can construct and deconstruct and control your reality and timelines, because humanity as a consciousness was hijacked, and somebody was projecting a reality frequency in front of you as a holograms based on their narrative. So you will lock in a specific waveform of a timeline in consciousness where you are trapped like a prison planet. And this is what we were. And now, in order for you to move forward to a higher dimensional existence where consciousness have better life and you can create better worlds and better outcomes, you have to know how to shift through the timelines so you can create your own world of existence through the matrix, and you can basically escape that evil prison that was created, because your body and consciousness create specific resonances. And if you put our consciousness, that is a reflection spark of God conscious particle itself, and you hold the entire information of God itself, if you know how to tap into, you're basically master of manifestation. A consciousness that was negative hijack our consciousness and use us as a battery by them using us by projecting negative videos, negative thoughts, technology, to keep your consciousness and body in constant repetition of negative emotions. and the negative emotions project in your field resonance that was sustaining the negative parallel timeline reality in time space was like a radio signal, and you cannot escape that prison, because you didn't know that everything that you were actually in a matrix of reality.
Yes, and for all the viewers, the prerequisite for even understanding that is going back to season 1, episode 1 on Marina-Ja-cobi.com, because you kind of have to go back to the beginning of where you started sharing this information. It's very difficult to skip through. Now, for me, who doesn't retain a lot, I'm always on a need-to-know basis, but it's important to kind of go back and look from the beginning how you began to share this information.
Actually, I had a second strike on my YouTube channel because I manage, because I do live channeling, and I end up saying a couple of words that they were not very happy about. So you have in my YouTube the harmonic reactor, Marina-Ja-cobi. You will definitely find season 1. The rest of the videos, which are 5 seasons, I moved to Rumble.
Yes.
And you can find me, and again, you put Marina-Ja-cobi, the harmonic reactor. Is not very organized there. They don't have the same platform the way YouTube has, like a season 1, season 2. But if you go season 1, episode 1, season 1, episode 2, and so on, you're gonna find all the videos that are fundamental to see. Please don't skip. And eventually we're gonna redo my website, so all my videos and postings will be there, so you can have direct connection. And then we did Air Meet, which is a platform that was graciously donated from a very good person, because we couldn't trust anymore other platforms. I got also, there was issues there too. So now we are in a platform that people can come in and you can just watch live videos, and I post whatever I can in YouTube and including Rumble account. So you have to sign up for my website so you have direct connection. Rumble and YouTube channel is running with a certain videos.
Yes, and I'll have all those links below.
Yeah.
Okay, so one of the things I've been hearing you say is that in the end, we can be assured that all souls will be saved, RNA, DNA will be restored, and those who took part of anyone else's DNA in any other way, they will be tracked and revealed. So, we live in a world of polarity where we have to learn from the opposite ends of the spectrum in order to earn our lessons. But what about those who have chosen to stay all the way on the other side of what we want to call darkness? Will those people have a redemption period? Will they be saved at all?
Well, this is a very, actually, I can talk for hours just on these questions, because this happens to be there's no time in consciousness. In consciousness, think of it like you standing in front of the TV, and at the same time you see 20 channels running at the same time, the monitors, and you can see in each channel what's happening. What happens is, there is a video that is called Marina-Ja-cobi, the Etheric Legions. It's very important, everybody, to see that video.
The Etheric Legions.
The Etheric Legions. And what they told me, that everybody that have chosen, whatever they have chosen, positive or negative, to take things or not to take things, they had a place in consciousness itself, because they have to show for the rest of humanity what was done. Because the one that resisted the pressure, they're actually the strongest of the strongest. Consciousness is simply waving off who is the strongest, who is not. The ones that are not, they're going above the structure. This was basically their exit. They wanted to exit. And why they wanted to exit? Because whatever you end up accumulating from your lifetime, your consciousness vibrates in specific pulsation, which is this wave signal. And that wave signal has to match the next resonance that consciousness is moving into the 5th dimension of Earth. And if you, through your lifetime, whatever you collected, don't have that potency of energetic field, pulsation to match that new resonance of this new parallel reality, you simply by energetic field cannot make it. And in your reality, you will create some situation to exit the matrix out of these realities and to be in another reality, which you will be above the structure, and you're going to start helping telepathically to dreams or some other ways to help the people that are remaining on this transition 4 5D and above to sustain that new waveform, because you were the strongest to move forward. Because now in the future, we're gonna start transforming humanity because we're so damaged from manipulation, from whatever was happening. We were manipulated, and in turn we did stuff that we shouldn't be doing because we were not aware. You went through fear, and because of fear you end up taking stuff that shouldn't be taken, but you thought was the right thing to do. These people shouldn't be punished for that. We all understand that, and I totally understand how it happened, but that's why you actually became a warrior and decided to show in another level. You knew that, your higher self knew that, but not in when you were doing it over here. So what's happening is you see the separation in consciousness when one of the timeline is going, some people are exiting because they cannot match this new resonance, or they're people that moving forward through the negative platform, but this timeline already happened. Humanity didn't make it. They went into cyborgs, they went into transhumanism, eugenics, and all that. But this timeline, and explain that, I have a video on that, when you have two simultaneous realities running at the same time, and you're going to study this in the quantum manifestation protocol from season 1 and so on, don't skip anything, where the now separates that already happened and we didn't make it, and became like very, very advanced in technology, advanced in AI. But because you separated from God particle, God consciousness itself, you cannot do that. You're also part of God consciousness. So it's simply a reality, but you have chosen to believe that. You did so much in technology that they said that we basically mutated and became completely different species because we were doing very crazy stuff, putting robotics and all this stuff, which the body of the human soul, the body is actually a reflection in the matter from God consciousness. And you have specific this code of DNA, RNA, including there's a third code, which is energetic, that actually mimics that. But if you start tapping into that and merging some kind of a synthetic stuff, you know, whatever that is, through food or anything else, actually mutates. And the sequences for that is no longer compatible with the original codon that was given from God consciousness itself. And because of that, created that future timeline that became so negative, they couldn't reproduce anymore. And in a future that we didn't make it, they connected with another timeline that are Pleiadians or anybody else that I was coming from. If anybody knows my story, you know, I was a download from there. And it's complex technology, it's very advanced technology. I'll talk about it if you wish to. But basically they connected and they created the hybridization program because they needed original DNA from the past, which is now, so they can gather, so we can choose to create another timeline of ascension. And in this timeline of ascension, the past, the future, and the future in the past is now. We are actually creating right now a new beginning that in the future and from now on, we made it. And because of that, it's already known that's what happened before and what is going to happen. But the one reality that you right now going to witness is the one that you have chosen to act upon, physically, emotionally. If it's all in the name of humanity, if you stay strong and if you resist the pressure of that manipulation, even if you were brought to your knees, the strongest of the strongest will survive. This is the people that will move forward because that's what's going to take to move forward. The survival of the species, that's what's really happening. So you preserve your real DNA, so you preserve your consciousness and everything else. However, They told me if somebody was so manipulated and something happened the day, something really negative they end up taking or whatever, there is a platform that right now they helping through technology, through spacecrafts and everything else. But it's gotta be very quick, because somebody came up with technology that can work in the ether based on the energetic field. However, if you mutated your DNA with something that is synthetic, that technology has to reprint the original code on DNA. And if they don't have the pattern of your true DNA, your specific DNA, what are they going to reprint? So it's very complex, and I do not wish to confuse everybody with that. But consciousness knows its way how to carpetalize everything and put everything in sections, because you have chosen to experience different things. And some people sacrifice themselves to exit in a certain way, so the rest of us here, the ones that are sleepyheads, wake up, and the ones that really knows are basically ahead of the game, so we pull everybody in. And it's going to be like a stages like that. But in actuality, if you know the quantum structure, every single person already made it. You're just experiencing and creating how you're going to make it. Because in consciousness, everything exists simultaneously. You've been given a chance to create another version of yourself, where whatever we did before, now we're creating it to make it. And in order to see this reality simultaneously running, you have to run on a program of it, basically your behavior, your thoughts, and your actions. And it's very, very, very challenging, because we've been bombarded from a lot of directions to the point that we were brought to our knees. And let's see how many will stay strong. But they told me that in the energetic field in a planet, humanity already is making it from this point of view, because we gather frequency in a vibration of the few dimensional 70 some percent. So we are making it. So don't get confused by the manipulation of the mainstream social media. That is the matrix that is holding the vibrational sequence of the negative side, because they know when they project that fear, when they push you under pressure like bullies, you through fear may do the stuff they want you. And when you do this stuff, you lock in yourself and you lower in the vibration of your consciousness and body into their timeline of reality, because they cannot jump into the fifth dimensional. They cannot hold the vibration, because everything they have done was negative, which is a lower density. Whatever they accumulated through their actions, through their greed, through the manipulation, through absolutely sacrificial stuff that they were doing to humanity. There is a video in season 5 I did a couple of weeks ago, that is about the children. That is a very, very tough video. I suggest you watch it. They didn't want to do it, but in order to transform, it's got to be dark to light. And I said a lot of stuff there that was very sensitive material for everybody to understand.
Yes, and we're being bombarded with manipulation through a lot of the social media and people out there supposedly telling little portions of the truth, but they're really taking you astray. Yeah. And my guides have been telling me for a very long time, several years now, be careful what's a distraction, be careful what's a distraction, because it'll take you off the now moment. So, which leads me to the next question, which we don't want to get a strike. So, why are these suckers still around? That's what I want to know.
Well, okay, there was a couple of things right now. Already, I'm not going to be mentioning names. Right. Already we were told, I was told from the Council of Nine and my guides that the good side already made it. And we have the floor. However, the negative side was presented. We have it all. The negative side was presented from the good guys. And the good guys said, we have it all. We know what's happening. Give it up already. But how can you expect consciousness that did very negative stuff and they survive only through that negative energy, is their survival, to give it up? So some of them wanted to stop all these things because they realized what was happening, but the majority, they told me, they decided that they will continue. So what you see right now, that the good guys are running behind the scenes. However, there's a lot of platforms from the negative side that are still running certain locations of government, of whatever that is. And this is why you see this stuff going on, especially the mainstream media, some platforms of government officials, politicians, and whatever you can think of is being everywhere. And that's what you see is happening right now, the breaking off and the demolition of this system, because they simply don't want to give it up, and became now almost like, in their point of view, they're doing patriotic stuff for their own survival. And because this is the only way they can survive. If somebody can survive only through the energy and the blood of somebody else, you asking this person to stop eating, to stop surviving. And they don't understand the compassion through the heart. Is only overtaken, always abuse, always dark energy, because they thrive in that. And they capitalize their consciousness, which I talk a lot of this last video about helping the children, that you're going to see in season 5 go to Rumble. You're going to see in season 5 the last couple of videos. And I explain in detail what they told me to say and what is there. And you need to look into all that information, that is there. Because when you capitalize the consciousness of some person, some people, through abuse and manipulation, this person, the soul pops out. And when this happens, because of so much abuse, there are people that know how to manipulate that, and you actually acting like a couple of people at the same time, in your almost like a double personality, a split personality. And one person could be a killer, the other person could be so nice, and just by the switch of a word, or you see something and you switch the personality just like that, because they needed their own soldiers, they needed their own stuff. And why? Because then you stay only on the timeline of the matrix that they can survive. That's what they needed. We were actually their battery. So when you watch the Matrix in the beginning, that they were using the humans as battery, I'm telling you, watch it again. This is exactly what's happening. But they were showing you how they were using your flesh and blood also.
Oh yeah, it's a typical parasite, but it's
parasitical living. But totally, from their point of view, what they taught me is not to judge them, because they said, well, aren't you eating the animals?
Yes.
What is the difference that somebody else is eating you? That's what they told me. And I kind of pulled back and I said, wow, that's harsh. But then I'm going to myself, but why? How should I judge another consciousness that is trying to survive? That's all they know. So I kind of pulled back and I started really analyzing and subsiding my anger. Yeah. Because I was really angry. And first it's shocking, because you're looking and you're going like, almost like somebody hit you in the head and you go, come on now, this is ridiculous. What is that? But then you start digging in more and you discover this and you discover that, and you end up in shock. And after the shock is now anger. And the anger you have to subside, and by understanding. And the way they helped me was through the quantum manifestation. When they explained to me how everything is done in consciousness, that when you're watching these people, they're another reflection of you, that you're watching another version of you, and that one version of you, that reflection that became, chose to experience something completely different, even if it's so dark. But they said to me that consciousness simply experiences different realities for itself to learn what is good, what is not good. And even the higher councils, even the Galactic Federation, and all the ETs said they really did not expect it to go that far. Nobody knew that. And they said to me that from consciousness will never, ever allow ever to go that dark again, because it learned from itself what is possible, what is not possible, and it will be stopped soon as it starts. So it was a lesson.
Mm-hmm. So do you think if we can raise our consciousness and our vibrational frequencies, we can put space between ourselves and, say, this parasitic darkness? Like right here now in this moment, if there's one thing that we could focus on to um, create a better self? Can we focus on raising that, and then we bring in enough space where this parasite doesn't have an attachment to us for at least a
Let
period
it
of
be.
time?
Let a parasite be. That's what they tell me. Accept what they're doing, but understand it. Understand their survival, accept what they're doing, but don't accept what they're asking you to do. Accept
Yeah.
their existence, because you cannot reject another version of yourself. It's part of consciousness. You projected them in your hologram. That's what you're going to learn, because it's a lesson. But you can mutate it. So if they do something crazy, okay, you want people to wear this crazy stuff like Celine Dion, that she was doing all the stuff, that's dark. If you literally go and this is occultic, you go and look at the occult and all the stuff. If you want to learn a lot, is the fall of the cabal in the Rumble. And there's another series, the sequel of the fall of the cabal, again in Rumble. Watch all this stuff there, learn, educate yourself, even if it's dark, digging into the darkness to understand it. Once you understand, you can get out of it, because you know how it works. Before that, you're like a sheep that's following through. At the moment they say ba, and you repeat the same thing without knowing that you're leading you to the slaughter. And that's what's really been happening, because we have to learn how to create, construct, and deconstruct realities. To have a balance, you have to know the other side. You can't just know one side, because it's going to be all balanced. Consciousness will always do something to balance itself, will never self-destruct. So except judging them, understand them, and you don't have to be compliant with what they do. Create your own reality. If she's talking about something crazy people to do, I'm not gonna do this for my kids. I'll do something else. If they do crazy stuff in the school system, may I ask you, parents, what are your kids are doing in the school system? They're private schools now, they're schools online, they're beautiful system. I found people end up calling teachers, and the teachers start going private and doing private schooling. You know, everything is possible right now. Why are you sitting and complaining, and you're putting your kids back in there when you know that they're indoctrinating them?
Yes.
And this is the action. That's what I said. Don't blame the children. I blame the parents, because it become compliant society. You're very busy. You're constantly giving excuse that is too difficult. You don't teach your kid advocacy. You don't teach them to be ladies and gentlemen and to respect. Everything is stupid videos. You know, I stop my kids from these videos. 1 week of arguments. So what? This is how it is. You're the parent, you know. I don't want to hear, well, there's no well, because this is life and death situation here. You have to be a warrior, and sometimes you're the parent, you're not the friend. And we need to understand what it takes here, because
Yes.
I even have a video of somebody that different genders and stuff like this, and they were dressing up like a woman. And the guy said, you're hurting our community, because what we do behind the scenes at nighttime is perverted. What are you kids doing and learning this in the school system? You know, and you're blaming us. You actually hurting our community, because we like being crazy, we like being whatever we want to do. But allow your child to grow up until 18 and then to explore that thing, you know, because we all been exploring, and it's a dark agenda behind all that. Simply, you like in a truck, and all of a sudden you have to transform. And now there's a video. You need to look at that. What is a woman? It's a documentary. You gotta watch that. What is a woman? Because I forgot, the guy was famous that did it. But you should see the logic of some of these people and what's really happening. And it's from the parents. You know, we became dumb and dumber society through the school systems, through the colleges. Do you guys know that colleges are actually banks? They're banks. You actually can go, and because they figured it out, parents up to almost 40, 50, they already pay their loans. But if you get them now to get more in debt for whatever hundreds of thousands of dollars you pay all your life, and student loan, they take money directly out of your bank. It's loan, it's a corporation, and they teaching your kids stuff that absolutely make no sense, and look at what they're doing right now. And it's not about liberal, Democrat or Republican. The
No,
whole that dark side is from both sides. You have to be smart. You have to know what's really doing. And the reason why I'm touching this subject, because I have a lot of emails. What do we do? What are we gonna do? Take an action. Do not allow, get involved. Be busybody with your kids. What they're watching, where they're going. And I can post something for your audience to see something that it, for me, is absolutely brilliant. What this person said, if I may, is only 2 minutes.
sure.
Okay. That this guy ended up saying, I think is phenomenal. And I'm gonna start from here.
If you're in America and you open up TikTok, if you're in Britain and you open up TikTok, there is a specific algorithm to reach you that is not in China. If you're in China and you open up TikTok, what the Chinese government wants you to receive as youth, as people using TikTok, are people who are doing good things, achievements, youth making social enterprise, youth becoming successful in math competitions, youth becoming masters of karate, youth doing something with their life. And you are rewarded. That algorithm is that the Chinese government makes you see positive things for social development. Did you know here and in the United States, China, send you a different algorithm? Do you know what they send you? All the nonsense they use. They want you to see girls dancing, boys and girls dancing with each other, pranks upon your parents, pranks upon people. How many pranks do you see? Yeah, I'm not saying it's not funny. Some of them are downright hilarious. But if you want to destroy a nation, destroy a generation, you make them in their mind be rewarded with the dopamine, thinking stupid things are good, thinking that this is what you're supposed to grow up doing. A large proportion of people grow up thinking that this is what life is about. But in China, they don't let their children think that. Next time you open up TikTok or Instagram or whatever, and you see this, understand that you are being played.
Thank
That's
you.
my point. Spot
Thank
on.
you. Yeah.
Yeah,
Thank
and
you.
there's also a Russian guy that was talking about how do you destroy society? You destroyed it from the youth. And even
Yes.
now your kids are destroyed from genetics to the point that they're afraid to say what is a woman. And let me just be clear here, be in record. You go by genetics. You go by genetics. Everything else is just a belief system of something that you want to be, but it's not matter. Is not matter, is genetics. Go back to genetics. And then if the person in the soul wants to do whatever they want to do at the proper age, then allow them to do. But I think it's completely ludicrous what some parents are doing. And that's what I said, is not the kids, it's the parents. For me, I blame the
Yes.
parents. They're the ones that are guilty of crime against their own children.
Yes. So I know we're running out of time now. So when we talk about in the future, the financial system is going to be different, meaning today's money, gold, silver, Bitcoin, I don't care what everybody's pushing. None of that's going to matter in the future. Why does everybody want to report on it?
Report on what?
On what the financial future is going to be and how you can start obtaining that right here, right now, instead of living right here, right now, and then getting to that point when you get there.
Because that's how you were indoctrinated to think. You
Yes.
don't live for the moment. You are getting into fear, no matter what it is. It's nothing is wrong to feel wealthy and to explore that and to do a lot of good and stuff. But I've discovered that the money is not evil the way they were used to, because society that is utopian society in a nice way, they don't need this type of monetary system. You simply gotta go somewhere, you're gonna need something because there's no ego and you're gonna receive it, which is another platform of reality that we can achieve to do that. But we are going to go through a system that is digital. We're going to go through a system that is organic intelligence, is part of the society, because people complain about AI. Oh my God, it went sentient. And I said, well, I told you that years ago. Where were you when I was talking about? Because it's a part of evolution. If all that platforms are available for the money, do you guys know that Russia is running already in gold? that you actually can buy the oil with gold. And yet they're telling you that you cannot buy. Yes, you cannot with the old system. So what's really happening, and I'm not praising anybody that is being actually suppressing humanity. I don't, know the person itself, but dig deeper what's really happening, because some people may be criminals and some people will be like a mafia and stuff like this, but they're not for extinction of humanity. And it's a huge difference, with all that. So we're going through different systems. I know that they told me it's going to be different systems. My suggestion to everybody is do not stay in a mainstream social media.
Yes.
If you watch this every day, you're simply going to be into their matrix. You're going to go into fear. You're not going to know what to save, what not to save. You have to live by the moment. Of course, don't comply or whatever they're asking you to do. Just make sure you always have some food or water if you want to. But I don't live like this anymore. I simply don't, because I stay in a moment. Because if you know how to create the realities and you vibrate in a certain vibration, you simply will hear something is happening somewhere. But actually your day could be like any other day. And why? Because in a matrix, when you manifest, you create reality within the reality. While every commotion is happening, you could be the one that tra-la-la, apples and oranges, you go around, smell the roses, and nothing is happening, while in the other block, they end up having a riots or whatever, and you hear 2 days later. Think of it this way. This is how the reality is going to go. Based on your, for example, you have your own reality, I have my own reality, and yet we're meeting at the same time. How is this possible when I'm right now probably 7 hours ahead of you? So when you start really thinking, pull back a bit, have no fear, engage with your family, go back to your roots, go back to your family, start helping each other out through money, through income, through go back to your homes and collect all your income together so you survive through this challenging time. Everybody that told me will be brought to their knees one way or another, because when I also moved, don't think because I have them and they helping. My husband lost the job in New York. We have to relocate. It was like a speeding light, but nobody told me go here, go there. I wanted to move 4 years ago, and they told me no, 4 years from now. I had no idea. I was talking in 2017 or before 2017 about a virus. And I keep repeating in a matrix virus, blah, blah, blah. You can't get out of the country up to 2023 or something like this. I had no idea it's going to be that crazy. I was not told. They were telling me virus, but nobody gave me the details. And now you're going to find out that other system is controlling everything which is positive, but people need to wake up. But that doesn't mean that the negative side will give up easily. And why would they? Is their survival. If somebody tells you right now you can't eat meat anymore, do you know, even from the people that is spiritual community, we're going to go crazy. I will go crazy, because my son, for example, what happened to him, he can't just have raw food. So it's a transitional time until little by little we make the right choices, because when your consciousness is raising, you start taking more energy out of the prana, out of the fifth dimensional, and you no longer will have the need to have this density of meat or vegetables or whatever it is. You don't have to eat, actually. I have a lot of videos on that. I haven't achieved that yet, but I've done it and I know what is possible. So it's a step-by-step process that we have to really follow through, and is a lot of work. Every single one of us will be challenged based on what you accumulated through the process of everything you did through your lifetimes.
Yes. Now, this will be a yes or no question, and then we'll have closure. And so within a few months, we will have some messages and some reveals.
You already have them. You're not looking deeper.
Okay. Listen, everybody, Marina has donated her life to giving us as much information as she possibly can. And so her time, talents, her skills, she needs our support by donating. she's not asking, I'm telling you, because I've worked with her. I've worked with her. So this is a great honor to have her on the show. But anybody who's out there that's really devoting their life to sharing this information and connecting as often as possible needs to be able to do this full time. And so donations and having a session with her is only going to benefit you, but it benefits her as well, because once we help each other, we're helping the collective. So Marina, I just want to thank you.
Thank you so much.
But it's so true, though. It's so true. Any last words before we sign off?
Well, they say in the last couple of months, we're going to have a lot of revelations. There will be like a ping pong stuff. Back and forth, you're going to hear one thing, somebody says one thing, then somebody says another thing. They're going to pretend for events. And they said, even if they say something negative, don't trust that this is going to be the truth. That's what they told me. Simply move by your daily life. Of course, we're not talking if somebody comes in your home and threatens you. I don't know everybody's reality, but into the collective is going to be the crescendo. We're going to see a lot of revelation. They're going to try to do a lot of crazy stuff. But this is the reason why I stay out of the mainstream social media, because I know it's just too much fear, too much manipulation. They do crazy stuff and I hear about it. But when you start running on a different platform, you hear about it, or somebody may say something, but you really continue with your everyday life because you're so aware. At the moment you see something, you will maneuver. I'm not saying you just sit there, somebody punch you in the face. At the moment you see it, you're going to recognize it because you're so aware. You have the awareness, and you, except you're going this way, you're going to choose to do the other way and you move forward. And this is what is going to be for everybody else. So it's just you're going to see the crescendo in the next, it's starting now. Actually, we are in it, you know. A lot of manipulation, a lot of crazy stuff. You're going to watch people of the political arena, they say stuff that absolutely make no sense, you know, that you're looking, how can people not see that this person is completely not capable, or is that the same person, you know, compare things, you know, it's all conspiracy. I never really said, oh, is this the guy? Is not. I simply know that is not my people, because I know the truth behind it. And I know that in the end, humanity, they told me, survives and moves forward. But I don't know exact players. Sometimes they don't tell me everything, but it's going to be the year of revelation and crescendo.
Yes. And all the more reason to stop, drop, sit, connect with your breath, and use your own God source antenna on what is true for you in your world, in your life, through your body. And I can't stress that enough to people. Stay away from a lot of the media. Pay attention to things that might educate you, but don't hold on to that information as if everyone has the same word of truth. Let it filter through your body so that you can feel what resonates and what doesn't. So the key is to gather your own information, make your own decisions based on what it is that you need. Well, thank you, my darling. I'm so appreciative. And everybody, you know, her links will be down there. Get a session with her. I can promise you it will not disappoint. It will help you on this journey. It will help expand your consciousness and get you to a level where you feel more happiness and joy. And that's the key here. All right. So much love, everybody. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Thanks so much.
All right. Let me find my record button.